If you need a job or you're just looking for a different scenery, there's a list going over the top cities to find employment in 2024. So on the video, I will cover the top 10 cities to find a job, but I will also cover the bottom 10 cities that made the list. There is a city on the list that I'm very familiar with, and I will explore in detail some options if you are looking for work in this particular city. So let's get after it right now. And welcome to the U State. I'm Mike Gallagher. I'm a local real estate agent in the area. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn more about living in Utah, you may consider tapping that subscribe button down below and hitting that bell notification, and YouTube will send you an alert every time I release a new video. Apart from making videos, I also help people buy or sell real estate. So if I can be of any assistance, I'll put my contact information on the screen. It'll also be located in the show notes. As we get started, I just want to make a note. This is not my report, and any city that is on the list was not my choice. I had nothing to do with the actual list. I will link the article in the show notes as far as the criteria that they use to determine who makes the list. Well, they looked at job security, they looked at satisfaction, they looked at opportunities, they looked at income and social friendliness. As we look at the list for the top 10 cities to find a job, coming in at number 10 will be Boston, Massachusetts, an area that has boomed for many years. And they had a little bit of a decline. There were people who moved out of the Boston area. Well, the city revitalized. It's back booming again. Coming in at number 9, Plano, Texas. This city is located north of Dallas, Texas. If you take a map, just look north of Dallas, Texas. Texas in general has had a huge migration of people, especially over the last 5 years. It's one of the top destinations that people are moving to. Coming in at number 8 on the list, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, an area that I'm familiar with. I have relatives that live in Pittsburgh. This used to be a blue-collar town for many years. The steel industry dominated the town. Well, the steel mills are long gone. That area has been cleaned up, and the city has done a fantastic job of bringing in a lot of new industries. Coming in at number 7 on the list, Seattle, Washington, an area that has always been great for employment. Coming in at number 6 on the list, Atlanta, Georgia, an area that has boomed over the last 10, 15, 20 years with residents, and also a lot of industries have moved to Atlanta. Coming in at number 5 on the list, Austin, Texas, another area that is in high growth mode, very high growth mode. I think that's where Elon Musk was moving, Tesla too, but there are many other companies that are calling Austin home. If you look at the state of Texas, probably the largest growth as far as jobs go is in the Austin, Texas area. Coming in at number 4 on the list is Columbia, Maryland, a city that is new to a lot of the lists that I've seen published over the years. Number 3 on the list, Salt Lake City, Utah, city I'm very familiar with. We have seen huge growth with companies. I'm going to go into more detail at the end of the video. If you are looking for a job in Salt Lake City, maybe some ideas on some companies or some areas to look for a job. And the boom really happened after 2002. When we had the Winter Olympics. It really put Salt Lake City on the map. People have been moving here nonstop since 2002, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, the growth has increased even more. And coming in number 2 on the list, you have Tampa, Florida. Well, the whole state of Florida has seen enormous growth. There have been industries, many people calling Florida home, especially over the last 5 years. Between Arizona, Florida, and Texas, they are seeing some extraordinary growth. Coming in at number 1 on the list, well, we have to have a city in Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona. Another great place to find employment. A lot of people have been moving to the whole Phoenix metro area, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and a lot of jobs have been created in that area. How about the bottom 10 cities that made the list for 2024? Unfortunately, somebody has to come on the bottom of the list. 10th from the bottom will be Newark, New Jersey. Number 9, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Number 8, Gulfport, Mississippi. Number 7, San Bernardino, California, an area that saw tremendous growth many years ago. Coming at number 6 on the list, Augusta, Georgia, home of the Masters. But I guess it's not a great place to find a job in 2024. Well, you could get a job at the Masters for a short time period. Coming at number 5 on the list, Stockton, California. Coming at number 4 from the bottom, Bakersfield, California. Number 3 from the bottom, Memphis, Tennessee. And number 2 from the bottom, Columbus, Georgia. And number 1 on the bottom, Bridgeport, Connecticut. So Bridgeport, Connecticut was the bottom of the list. Scottsdale, Arizona was the top of the list. If you're looking for employment with the city that made the number 3 spot on the list, Salt Lake City, there are many options in the Salt Lake City market and also the surrounding area. So stay focused on the whole area. I would say from Ogden all the way down to Provo, Utah, consider companies in that area. It's very easy to, you could either drive to work from any of those areas, take mass transit. We do have a train system. We also have a bus system. So consider any of those particular areas. One of the big industries that has boomed in Utah is the tech industry. And it's located south of Salt Lake City, north of Provo. If you took a map, almost like right in the middle between Provo and downtown Salt Lake City, you'll find an area that we call Silicon Slopes. It's where the tech industry companies have decided to call home. There are billion-dollar companies, some very expensive real estate right there, some very expensive buildings that have been built, many jobs in the tech industry located right in that spot. But as another tip, also consider tech jobs, if you're looking for a tech job, up in the Ogden area. The real estate scene in Silicon Slopes is very expensive. It's very expensive for commercial property. It's also rather expensive for residential. So some of the maybe not so big companies, you might want to say, some of the companies that can't afford the multi-million-dollar buildings in the Silicon Slope area have chosen areas like in Ogden. The commercial real estate is a little less expensive, and rent options and residential homes are also a little less expensive in that area. So some of the smaller tech companies are actually choosing Ogden as their home. So keep that on your list. So when you're looking at downtown Salt Lake City, keep an eye in the banking and finance industry. Quite a few companies are calling downtown Salt Lake City home. Also, if you're looking at a government job with like the state of Utah, Salt Lake County, Salt Lake City, most of those jobs are located in that downtown Salt Lake City area. If you are in the medical field, downtown Salt Lake City is a great area. There are numerous hospitals. There are also some specialty hospitals in the area, like the Huntsman Cancer Institute, the University of Utah. Also, Primary Children's Hospital is located all in that Salt Lake City downtown area. If we look north of Salt Lake City, we have a military base called Hill Air Force Base, located just south of Ogden, Utah, in a city called Layton, Utah. You'll find the military base. It's a rather large base. A lot is going on the base. So if you're looking for a job with the government or with a defense contractor, you'll find it right there. Now, there are numerous defense contractors in the area. The military base has the latest fighter jet that the military offers, the F-35, and it takes a lot of support companies to keep those airplanes in the sky. So some of the biggest defense contractors are located right in the area. And not just on the base, also consider off the base. I've seen companies in Ogden. I've seen companies in Clearfield, Salt Lake City. Defense contractors could be located. So there are many different defense contractors and many different jobs. You can work in one of the hangars on many of the different aircraft that they do. We have a large contracting division. So if you have experience with contracting, there's a lot of jobs going out for bid, etc., etc. And there's also jobs in many other skills. I got a friend of mine that has a CDL license, and he removes the snow on the base. There's a division that keeps the runway nice and clear, and they drive these big trucks, snow blowers, to keep the runway open at all times. It must be open at all times. Also consider some of the specialty trades. I've got a friend that went to a trade school and learned composite repair. A lot of the aircraft nowadays are made out of composite materials. So he went to a local trade school, didn't require getting a 4-year degree and taking all the courses that he didn't want to take, math, English, and science. He learned how to do composite repair, and the job opportunities are enormous. He's had many opportunities on the base, which he currently works at now, but he's also been offered opportunities across the United States. So keep your eye open for specialty jobs. Also, when we're talking about the military base, keep in mind that it's not only just the F-35 on the base. The base also does what they call depot work. They maintain various aircraft, even pull aircraft out of the boneyard to refurbish and sell. So they're making all the modifications on like the C-130s, the A-10s, and the F-16. They actually take some of the older F-16s, refurbish them, and sell them to countries around the world. So there's a lot of opportunities in the depot work field with Hill Air Force Base. Another area to keep in mind will be outdoor recreational companies. Many are calling Utah home. Companies that are in the mountain biking industry, the skiing industry, the golfing industry, the snowboarding industry, the UTV industry. A lot of these companies are moving to Utah where the outdoor recreational activities are located. And there are many opportunities with hiking and climbing and rock climbing. All those companies, or many of those companies, are calling Utah home. So consider some of those companies. And I can't forget one more very large company that will not be going out of business that you could look for employment at: the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, located here in Utah. Their main office is in Ogden, Utah, but I believe they have locations in areas throughout Ogden, Clearfield, Layton, possibly Salt Lake City. As far as I know, they process a lot of the business returns and different forms that are needed for businesses. So if you're looking for a job with the IRS, that could be an option. I actually talked to somebody on the phone that about 1.5 years ago, he was working at the oil refineries up in Wyoming, and there was a big slowdown when the Biden administration came in and slowed the production of oil, and he changed careers from the oil industry to the IRS and moved to Ogden, Utah. So in conclusion, I would love to know in the comments down below, do you agree with the list? Are some of the cities in the top 10? Do they deserve to be at the top of the list? And do some of the cities deserve to be on the bottom of the list? Would love to know your personal experiences. Till the next video, take care and stay safe.